Hello, I'm Lee Bewley, Program Director of the University of Louisville Masters in Science and Health Administration program. Thank you for serving as a preceptor for our MSHA students. Your role in developing these students is absolutely critical and very much appreciated as we develop the future leaders of our healthcare systems. Here's our agenda. We're primarily focused on guiding expectations of the way forward for our students and your role in supporting their development and providing an overview of resources that are available for either direct reference or for Q&A that emerge. The Practicum experience is the heart of our two-year tour with the students in this program. Students that are full-time are expected to graduate within a 2-year period. We have a number of students that complete the program on a part-time basis and may complete the practicum at the halfway point of their time in the program. And so after the first year of experience that the students have, which would include the 27 credit hours of the fall 1 and spring 1 semester, the students go out into the field for an integrative learning experience. And one part to extend the development and the content that was manifest in the courses in the first and second semester, but also to gain new experiences and be able to apply what they've learned in the field, guided by you, a preceptor, to have that feedback. The feedback isn't necessarily always going to be positive. Failing, controlled and bounded, of course, is a part of the game. But from a developmental perspective, to allow students to be able to build and to improve. Clearly, a basis of success is also very much important. And so as you see opportunities that students have quick wins, or you have outcomes or demonstrated development or competencies that are good or great, reinforce those elements as well. But this field experience in the very middle, the very heart of our MSHA flight plan enables students to be able to transition from the field experience, from the practicum, to be able to go into the second year to apply for national administrative fellowships or fellowships on a regional or local basis. And then as they move into the first fall semester in their second year and then spring, we expect that they will be able, predicated on their development in the courses, but also in the field experience and opportunities to compete in case study competitions or graduate competitions, that upon graduation they will secure an administrative fellowship or their first graduate position post MSHA, which may be in a new organization or moving up and progressing with upper mobility within their own organization. Our program is predicated on a competency development model. Each one of our courses, including the practicum experience, is directly tied to competencies within our population health leadership competency model that's manifest in the National Center for Healthcare Leadership Competency Model. We have extended the 26 competencies of the National Center for Healthcare Leadership Competency Model to include population health management. And so in each of these 4 domains, management and leadership, communications and interpersonal effectiveness, professionalism and ethics, and finally, and most critically, critical thinking, analysis, and problem solving, we expect that a student will have opportunities for development in your evaluation and feedback in each of the 4 broad domains, though they might not necessarily hit each one of the finite specific competencies during this period of time. We see competency development as incremental and temporal. And so we know that we don't have blank slates for students coming into the program. They bring their own skills, knowledge, abilities, experience. They have a baccalaureate education. But yet in the first and second years of the program, we formally introduce these competencies and we expect a certain recognition and then the beginnings of understanding of the competency. During the practicum experience in that heart, the midpoint of the student's MSHA program experience, we want to integrate assessment and feedback, to have experimentation, and so in demonstration of those competencies. As I noted earlier, they might not always completely succeed, and in some cases there may be controlled failure. Those are learning and developmental opportunities within the context of an MSHA program and a practicum that we instruct, we guide, we learn as students, we learn as preceptors and as faculty, what needs these students have, and we invest in the students. We provide them opportunities in these formative assessments to move towards, well, life summative assessments, hire or not, or retain or not. But within the perspective of this practicum, we want that experimentation. We want you to push and prod the students towards demonstrating competencies and then developing where necessary or extending upon existing development as they move towards becoming master practitioners of health administration that they will be expected to achieve at a basic level upon graduation from the program and then build upon throughout their career. What is the MSHA Practicum? Simply stated, it is an integrative applied development and assessment experience. We're putting these students out in the field. In some cases, these students are already working as administrative interns within your organizations, or they may be working in a role that is functional as a clerk or a manager, or working as a coordinator, maybe even as a call operator. A number of different roles students have within organizations, or more formally and directly administrative internship experience. We expect that the students will have 10 weeks, could be more or less 9, 10, 11, 12, about 10 weeks of time guided and informed by their academic advisor and program director, but primarily directed and monitored by a preceptor to have a series of projects, of activities planned or ad hoc or emergent in which students have exposure to and the opportunity to experiment, to apply, to create value, chances, opportunities to have bounded failure or incomplete success, but yet an opportunity to develop these formative opportunities into a more summative and final feedback. So as you develop as a faculty, as a preceptor, as you're considering the activities, think about what can be completed within 10 weeks. For those organizations that have these students on a continuous basis, for instance, if one of your students is serving as an administrative intern within the organization, you may very well have a period where there's a cutoff of the practicum experience, but then the students may implement or evaluate or be part of the follow-on component while still serving in their administrative internship capacity. If a student is within your organization only for this summer, either on a volunteer or perhaps a short-term contract or a volunteer basis, aim to develop an experience in which there is a defined and a clearly observed and executed completion of a project or projects within this 10-week period. An overview of the entire practice experience. You should know that, again, the practicum experience is a course, or more accurately, a group of courses. There are 3 one-credit-hour courses that make up the practicum experience. In the spring of the student's first year, they enrolled in the PHMS 686 or Practicum Experience 1. And during that time, they developed their practicum experience. They identified an organization, a preceptor. They ensured that their documentation and their standing as a administrative intern or as a practicum student within that organization was properly evaluated, recorded, and they developed and coordinated a provisional site work plan. And so these deliverables were reviewed and approved. When I say provisional work plan, you have opportunities as preceptors, and by extension, these students they're in control and they are responsible for conducting the work plan. But if there are emergent opportunities, adjustments, or revisement of the work plans can be conducted during the 10-week experience on an ad hoc and an emergent basis. The students will actually be enrolled in the Practicum Experience 2 in the fall of their second year. However, the actual experience, the Practicum Experience, is conducted normally during the summer between the spring and the fall breaks. The reason we have these students enroll formally in the fall is that we charge tuition based on enrollment periods. And so the students are able to enroll in their practicum experiences in the fall and the springs, and they receive a bulk tuition charge. And so the experience is conducted in the summer, and the actual course is enrolled in the fall. That fall enrollment also provides a basis for the students that as they're conducting their experience, we expect them to reflect, record, and report. And so there are required deliverables, and we'll get into more detail in a bit, that the students must record their experience, reflect on how their performance or their observations contextually of what actions occurred, what direction, what feedback they have, and record, and then report in order to be able to meet the deliverable requirements for that course. Those course deliverables are complete or due by the end of the fall term, but practically speaking, all of the activities, the fundamental activities and experiences conducted in the summer. And then finally, the PHMS 692 course, the Practicum Experience 3, is a course taken formally in the final term of a student's experience in spring term year 2. And this integrative capstone event, in conjunction with the capstone course, students synthesize their experiences, their record and recall of their competency development and assessments during the practicum in conjunction with their capstone course, and they provide a report. It's a 2 to 3 page written report of the major activities of their practicum experience, what they learn, what they need to continue to learn in a forward-looking perspective, and they provide an oral report that is one part to provide a report to their advisors, but also to preceptors. And then finally, their oral report exists and is presented to the first-year students in order to provide a initial orientation and preparation for the first-year students to go out into their own respective practicum experiences. So, in summary, the practicum experience is a 3 credit hour group of courses, and each one of the 1 credit hour courses has a functional effect. For this summer practicum experience, in which you will serve as preceptor, the students will have the experience in the summer between the spring and fall terms, but yet the students will actually be enrolled in a course in the fall term in which they will submit their deliverables. And what are these deliverables? There are 5 2-week reports that have corresponding directed learning questions. Our program has developed directed learning questions that are intended to assess the students' experience and their development of competencies. And so in this approximate 10-week period of a practicum, every other week, weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, and then summary at 10, the students would develop a report that is tied fundamentally to directed learning questions. At the end of the 10-week experience, the students are expected to have a self-report of their experience, and there is a preceptor assessment. That preceptor assessment and the student experience are electronically generated Qualtrics surveys that the students, for their own individual assessment, and preceptors for their assessment of the students, can complete electronically. You will be queried for that assessment through an email transmission. And so, again, these deliverables, the students are formally enrolled in the fall of 2021. However, the actual activity is in the summer between the spring and fall terms. Those deliverables are due no later than the last day of the fall 21 term, but we encourage the students to develop, at minimum, drafts. And so perhaps querying or asking the students about their reports, their directed learning questions, provide a richer basis for submission, but also guides the students' experience so that in the moment, they'll have a richer recall of their experience, what went right, what went better, what could be better, and what went wrong, and should be fundamentally improved in regards to their competency development. And so we encourage the students to develop those drafts that they may revise and update and enhance for formal submission for credit in 691. All right, one slide of roles and responsibilities. These bullets are almost directly taken from the handbook for the Masters in Science Health Administration practicum. And so basically, The overview is participation in MSHA sponsored events such as this orientation. We will send, it's one part pandemic operations, but other part recognition that you are very busy. And so we are sending this electronic orientation file. But we envision times in the future that we may be able to meet in person or to have some type of collaborative activities, whether or not it's for practice, for case studies, or comprehensive oral examinations. But for now, we are sending this video electronic orientation. We want you to regularly monitor students' progress and give them feedback. Scan, develop, facilitate. If you see opportunities that emerge in the organization or the marketplace for your students, it is okay to call an audible for an extension or an adjustment of the student's work plan. And so for 10 weeks, we'd like for you to seek and find opportunities, even if it's for a day or an hour. If there is a Joint Commission survey, if there's some type of Sentinel event or some type of activity, perhaps a senior leader, a congressional representative, there is a opportunity to observe advanced healthcare management, healthcare leadership. Find a way to plug those students in appropriately for that development, for that experience. Engage with the student, discuss, give them feedback on an ad hoc or on a summative basis at the end. Loop in the academic advisor in terms of your feedback. Each one of our students have academic advisors apart from the program director. I serve as a program director for a few of my students, and my colleagues on faculty also serve as advisors. And so your student can link you up with the advisor for feedback either on ad hoc or a summative basis. At the end, students may come to you and ask for you to review your final report, their final report or oral presentation. You can observe that oral presentation during the capstone course, or we can send you links. Continuously provide feedback to the students daily or weekly or on a monthly basis. Give opportunities to give feedback and to guide these students' development in a way that is positive and progressive and builds them towards being more effective leaders. And at the end, we will send you an email link to the Qualtrics survey that allows you to provide a final student evaluation. Based on feedback that from our advisory board, past preceptors, and some key stakeholders, we're encouraging you to consider beyond some of the clear and basic components like financial management, strategic orientation, absolutely reinforce project management or other competencies. There are some standard business processes, the business of health, that we want you to develop in the students, but a recurring, not necessarily a problem, but an area of emphasis that we would like and we need our preceptors to help support the development of these students is focusing on some of the soft skills. Partly in reflection to some of the actions, the consequences, second order effects of pandemic, some aspects in terms of early careerists and providing them a boost or providing them key targeted soft skills that allow them to be better leaders. And so if you have opportunities to observe and to develop and to provide feedback on soft skills, competencies such as professionalism, self-development, self-confidence, and team leadership, please invest those opportunities in our students. It could be planned, it could be emergent, it could be part of a formal work plan that is developed. You can, again, that's one of the examples that perhaps a student has developed a work plan that focuses on some of the hard skills of competency development, such as strategic orientation or financial skills. Augment it, add professionalism or add self-development or team leadership to that plan and create opportunities for students to be out there and to experiment, to be able to have bounded failure or only partial success. And then, of course, as they have success, reinforce, provide those adjustments, provide that feedback in order to enhance the development of our students toward becoming effective healthcare leaders. All right, I'll close out this session. Again, I'm Lee Bewley. I'm the Program Director of U of L MSHA program. You can contact directly at lee.bewley@louisville.edu. And then, of course, each of our students, we have a number of academic advisors that are assigned to our students. Be sure that your student has looped you in and connected you with that academic advisor. And then finally, there are a couple of key resources. When we send this orientation video out to you for your review, we'll also send a copy of the syllabus and the MSHA Practicum Handbook. The syllabus for 691 is the formal practicum experience, those key deliverables of the directed learning questions, the student's own assessment of the practicum experience, and then your assessment of the students. And then that handbook provides an overview of the entire practicum experience. I'll close for now. Again, very much appreciate your investment in our students. Your support is absolutely critical and essential. And if I can be of any support or assistance to you in this practicum experience, or for that matter, in general practice of health administration and leadership in our community and in our experience with our community, please do not hesitate to let me know. All right. Thank you again. Go Cards.